Alliance. He is the beast from Hollywood East, Michael the Hammer Mulligan.
Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here. This is the 2012 Packy Award. We won this for the show Fireside. In 2012, it was a great honor. We won it from Pack TV. That's why they call it a Packy. And yeah, it was nice. They've since stopped giving the awards out, but we still appreciate it very much. So awards are a great way of telling people that you love what they do, you like their work. It is now the award season for Mass MMA. Mass MMA is one of the best, online sites that you could go to find out your mixed martial arts information. You can find out stats, find out upcoming fights. You can see, you can see the pre-fight interviews. You can see the post-fight interviews. You can see the rankings. You can see everything. Western MMA. There are a few other things out there also that do this. It's great. Also, what Mass MMA is doing is they're having their end-of-year awards. Fighter of the Year, male and female, Knockout of the Year, Best Promotion of the Year, several different awards. So if you were to go on to massmma.com and pull up the awards, you'll see them on there. And they also have Journalist of the Year and Media Outlet of the Year. So that's why I'm here. This is my pitch. While you're on there voting for everything else, you make sure that you find Media Outlet of the Year and vote for me. Vote for Mom. Vote for Fireside with the Hammer, and we would appreciate it. We'd like to see another little trophy sitting on our shelf up here for our show. So again, thanks for coming. Enjoy the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and whatever you celebrate, you enjoy it. Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here. I'm here with Jimmy Manning, a.k.a. Jimmy the Tooth. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. You're so far away.
Yeah.
I like it like that. So, all right. So give me a little heads up on your career. When did you start doing mixed martial arts or martial arts themselves?
Oh, boy. It kind of actually, started like most when the big buzz came around about like 6-7 years or so. The UFC started to like take off.
Yep.
The old Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffith fight. Tough show. I wanted to be one of those guys.
Yep.
And I went to a local gym, and soon thereafter was brought up to speed that it's more than just being tough and getting in there, because people can get hurt very fast if they don't have the proper training and the right guys around them. So
where was your first gym?
My first gym was at Nexus Martial Arts.
Yep. What was your guy's name? Steve?
Steve Whittier.
Steve Whittier. Okay, cool. So keep going. Sorry.
I just I wanted to obviously work on the ground. I didn't know anything about the ground other than a couple of cookout headlocks and things like
Which
that.
Which wouldn't work in the ring.
It doesn't work. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I just kind of took off with the whole jiu-jitsu thing. I love training in the gi, and it just kind of became a passion. And I ended up getting a couple of good, really cool, solid training partners over at Nexus, and started competing internationally.
Yep.
And having a lot of success, and just kind of living that jiu-jitsu culture,
yep.
Sport BJJ, and didn't really think about doing MMA at all for at least a couple of years. And then I had my goals of trying the whole MMA thing again, and the program really wasn't off the ground over there. And it's not that it wasn't for me, I just needed the right people around me. So
it isn't that there was anything bad, it just wasn't the right scene for you. You had kind of grown out of what you were doing there, and you needed another level.
Yeah.
I follow you.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, but before I switched, I wanted to like really go to the super highest level at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And at the time, the program was super solid.
Yep.
It was awesome, but it just wasn't really. So I started training with Best Way and Soul Fighters out of Connecticut, a couple of world champions on that team, and they were awesome training partners. But again, back to the MMA thing. I didn't really have training partners for MMA, so now I had to make another move, which was another. It's, you know, you get with a group of guys and you really, you get a system going. So I had to change my system for a second time.
Yep.
That's when, you know, I found Lozon's.
Yep, nice.
And another, you know, that school speaks for itself.
Right, of course. Yeah, it's got some champions out of there. Joe, of course, is the UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Ricky, Joey Proctor. Which one? Ricky or Joey? Joey Proctor is
yeah.
the MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Now, or I should say the UFC fighter. His brother Ricky's
they're
both
both
right. They're both
talents.
great guys. Yeah.
There's so many names over there. I mean, it's an awesome group of guys. I loved every second that I was over there, you know, and I, you know, from time to time, you know, I'll pop in there just to, you know.
You've done a lot of traveling with this sport.
Yeah, you know, if you don't burn your bridges, you're always welcome back.
Right, of course.
But again, you know, Easton was a far drive.
Sure.
And you know.
Now, what was in Easton? That's
Joe's
school is in Easton. Okay, I did go there for a media day for Cage Titans. Yeah, nice school.
So I had thought that Cape Cod Fighting Alliance was in Plymouth, which in fact
was.
At the time while I was at Lozon's, they were up the street from where I was living.
Oh, okay.
So once I found that out, you know, I sat and I talked with Joe and I said, you know, it is what it is. It's up the street. And
yeah.
It was like, no, he's total professional, totally understood, and was like, best of luck to you, kid, man.
Yeah,
you know?
good.
So
good. He's a good guy. Yeah.
And
he loves the sport. It ain't, you know, a lot of these guys in the sport, it's all about their bottom dollar. It's not about what you need to do for yourself. But Joe understands probably more than anybody. You got to be selfish in this sport if you want to win.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, and you know, I got the right group of guys around me now for what I needed to do to become a complete fighter in MMA. You know, everybody knows CCFA is known for their, you know, their stand-up. So you know,
and their ground now, yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
But you know, their strong point is that they got so many phenomenal strikers. I mean,
yep. And you walked in the door there. I mean, you walked in the door at CCFA. I remember rolling with you as a very solid jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, you know, the only reason that, you know, I get you is because of my weight. I just lay on you.
Yeah. The first guy that I've ever had grab my lapel on my gi and actually rip it.
Yeah, it was strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got a very solid jiu-jitsu game, and then now obviously your stand-up game has grown quite a bit.
It has. I linked up with a good friend of mine. He's like a father to me, Bob Camara. You know, the big guy that you always see at my fights. He's in the corner.
Yeah.
He started just as I was leaving Nexus, and then you know he followed me over to another jiu-jitsu school out of the Best Way organization. And then when I made my switch again, he kind of just, you know, got away from the sport, but the whole way through, it's been teaching me, you know, traditional style boxing.
Nice.
And how to strike. So that coupled with, you know, Loco and Pat and all those guys over there, kind of not with the CCFA guys, not trying to change my boxing style, just trying to add to it, and you know.
Yeah. So it adds more tools to your arsenal.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it does, and it's not always, and you know, you being a fighter, as you know, it's not the easiest thing to stress about your weakness, because, you know, let's face it, you know, at that school, you know, if you have a weakness, you're going to be exposed.
Yeah, which is why you
it's not fun being exposed day after day after day, but eventually, you know, over time, you know, it gets easier. So
right. Well, you don't get exposed as much, and plus you're also when you're going against so many people and you from so many different schools, you've seen so many different styles in so many different schools that helps you in your journey, because there isn't much you ain't seen so far.
Different schools, different weight classes. You know.
So all right, so tell me a little bit about your experience as a fighter. Let's start with your first fight.
All right, so my actual first fight that nobody knows about, or I, you know, never got credit for on my record, was a smoker out of Manfredo's gym in Providence against a kid we were supposed to meet. His name's Angelo Biasi. It's the younger brother of Vladimir Biasi.
Yep.
I think he's a title holder for Birchfield out of the CES promotion.
Nice.
And this kid was on the Cape Verdean national boxing team.
Yep.
And we were supposed to meet at 175. Well, you know how smokers go. He wasn't a 175er. He was a lot bigger. And I think you know if
so let me clarify this. A smoker's basically you go to a gym and you fight there, and it isn't a promoted event. It isn't something that's like sanctioned or anything like that. but it's usually a smoker typically isn't an MMA fight. What was the sport?
It actually was the last.
Was it MMA smoker?
It was an MMA fight in. It was like a bird cage over at the Triforce gym now.
Yeah.
It was the last fight on a card, a kickboxing venue.
Yep.
So we were the main event. So everybody got out of their chairs and then went in the back room. There was no seating room or anything. They just kind of like huddled around. It was like a underground
like pit
fight, like Brazilian underground fight.
It's a way to see a couple chickens get thrown in there.
And the guy took his his shirt off and everything, and I didn't realize it because I really it was my dream to get in the cage, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm finally gonna do it.
Yep.
Wearing the tap-out shirts over the years, and now I'm gonna finally be that guy. You know what I mean? We all started out like that.
You got the theme song.
Yeah. So I get in there, and I think I went for a takedown. And he was like Shane size.
Yeah.
I would whatever Shane weighs, and
he's like 185. Well, he walks around probably 190, 195, but 185 fighter.
But anyway, he was about that size, and I think it was like 175 with all of my clothes on.
Yeah.
And
change in your pocket.
Yeah. And we just kind of, we tied up a little bit in the beginning because I wanted to stay away from him. His kicks in his hands, so I got right inside right away. Went to the ground. I wrecked his arm like 180 degrees the opposite way. Yep. I was waiting for it to be stopped. Bobby Diaz was actually the referee, and he must have been on the other side. And I kind of stopped and was waiting because it was really weird feeling, feeling the pop.
Yep.
The kid was an animal. I mean, he just kept going.
He
like I never even did anything, and I'm like, all right, now this is real. So we just kind of battled around, and I had no stand-up whatsoever. I didn't even know how to do anything. I hadn't met Bob Camara
yet. How to get hit.
First thing I wanted to do was like pull guard and like go inverted to like a back take or something. That doesn't work in MMA. So
it's hard to do BJJ when you're getting punched in the face.
Yes. It takes your cardio away. So I grinded him out, took him down every round, and just grounded and pounded him.
So you had him all twisted up, his arms all inverted. The referee didn't quite see it. So it went on.
So I got the decision on that one. So
you did?
Unofficially, I was 1-0.
Yeah.
And then I did it the right way, got all my medicals done, and fought for Pete DiLorenzo.
Sure.
AFO. And
he was a little controversial there for a while.
He was. I never had an issue with him, but then again, I was just getting into the sport. I didn't really know the full dynamics of this, that, and the other.
Yep.
So
you fought, you got paid.
Well, yeah. I still didn't know about ticket sales or anything like that. I just, I was just told, you're gonna fight this guy. So my next opponent was Tommy Vent out of Team United.
Yep.
And it was at 170. And and another thing that I didn't know about MMA is you want to research your opponents and see who they fought, what weight classes. I had no idea that he was a ranked 185er. I think he was like number 3 or something at the time.
And he's cutting a 170.
Just fought a title fight
Yep.
before this fight. And it was his first fight at 170. Here I am, not even knowing how to make weight. I think I was like 177 that night.
And who was your coach at this time?
It was. I don't want to say that, but anyway,
it
wasn't good at bad.
I'm only saying that because that's usually you got to have a coach that does the research and tells you shut up and get back in the cage and train, and I'll tell you when you're ready to fight.
Well, I think Mike, my coach / training partner at the time was learning along with me.
Oh, I get you.
So it's not that he was making bad decisions. He was
didn't
like
know
me.
what the right decision was.
He wanted me to be an MMA fighter because that was my dream, my goal, and that was the best way he knew how to, was to do what he was doing at the time. But again, that fight was tough because he came right at me, and ended up being it was a unanimous loss, but
it went to a decision.
I felt.
That's huge.
And Tommy also felt that it could have gone either way.
Yep.
And he, to this day, still gives me a lot of respect for it, being my first sanctioned fight.
So you fought a tough guy and you went the whole ride with him.
Yeah.
So you can't complain about that. And that was your first real MMA fight. So what's your record now?
My record is it's sanctioned 4-2, 5-2 unofficially.
Right. So let's call it 4-2. We'll leave the smoker out of that because they don't include him in the rankings. But So who? Let me see. So where does it go from here? What are you still amateur or are you pro?
I'm an amateur.
You're an amateur.
Yeah, I ended up fighting 6 days after that. After
Oh, no
going
kidding.
through a battle.
Yeah.
And then I jump over with Gary Foreman
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his promotion.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning the fight on my feet the whole time because the kid was a stud wrestler and a boxer, and I ended
Who was
up,
the kid?
Mike Brown out
Yeah.
of Weight Crew.
Sure. Yeah.
And I ended up, I mean, it wasn't like, you know, I basically dominated, you know, every round of that whole fight. And then my third fight was against another wrestler, boxer from New England Combat, Blaine Waterman.
Yep.
Another fight that I won at
Yep.
170 on my feet.
Wow.
And then I fight at 170 again for Cage Titans. This is when I first meet Mike Polvere.
Yeah, sure.
For a four-man run to the title, amateur title, 170 title.
Yeah.
I think it was me, Richard Hunter, Dan Phelps, and Felix Gomez, who was my opponent.
Nice.
And that was a tough one because he was twice my size. You know, he knew how to get to 170 from where the 170s come
Now,
down.
where were you at school at this point?
I was floating in between like Best Way and Lozon's, and,
Yep.
and at the time I was kind of like moving in full time at Lozon, so they kind of really introduced me to real MMA and what it was
Nice.
about.
Good.
You know, like
Yep.
3 weeks out, so I felt ready.
So you got good lineage here behind you, anyways. You
Yeah.
got good, good schools. Yeah.
So you know, the first round was tough because he switched stances on me, and I had no idea, you know, how to switch on the fly fighting left-handers at the time.
Yeah.
I was still learning the whole boxing thing, and you know, the sweet science is not something you just pick up.
It's not so sweet.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I was eating a lot of shots, and then, you know, I turned it on, and I don't know. Some say that, you know, I got the round, or maybe it was a close round. We came out that beginning of the second round, and I couldn't even explain it, but it was just a really weird feeling, and I went down, and that was it. And I was kind of trying to signal to the ref, like, "Oh, my eye." And I'd never been like jammed in the eye like that before, so it just stopped me right in my tracks, and that was it. And it went down as a TKO finish, and I think Regional Fight Sports reported not so long ago in the preview for me in my upcoming fight that I'd been knocked out before, and that was, I guess, what he was talking about.
Oh,
So
I see.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
so
it was
you've
just-
never been knocked out before?
No.
You got poked in the eye. And look, all right, I got you. All right, so now let's talk about that. Let's move forward to now.
Yeah.
Who's your next fight?
Kevin Schneider from South Shore Sports Fighting.
So where are you fighting?
For Cage Titans at Memorial Hall.
All right, and when's that fight?
January 24th.
January 24th, Kevin Schneider. Now, how you guys getting along? Have you guys met? Do you know this guy?
I've actually trained with him a few times.
Oh, really?
We used to, you know, cross-train a little bit, you know. When I was at Lozon's, I met him over there, and we were actually on the same card that night when I got poked in the eye by Gomez. I think he picked up a win. I don't know if that was his first or a second, but he's been on a run. He's undefeated, and he's
nice.
You know, controlled the whole fight, or he's finished all of his fights.
So this is a tough, you know, Bill Mahoney over there, he's got some good students, so this has got to be a tough kid if he's coming from South Shore. How does he react to fighting you? Does he say anything about it, or he just...
Well, I really didn't want this fight because, you know, it's new to me. Like, I was kind of friendly with the kid, you know,
right?
And I helped him get ready for, you know, one of his last, the last one of the fight before that. I helped him get ready, and I don't know. I figured he'd let me, you know, defend it one time and move on, and then he could take the vacant belt. And,
right.
You know, if it was just about the belt, that's
Oh,
fine.
you mean defend it and then move on to pro? Oh, I gotcha. And then he'd come in and fight for that. I gotcha.
Yeah, but, you know, I guess he wants to test himself, and, you know, he really wants to fight me, because there's been opportunities with him to go get a belt in another organization, or just, you know, maybe just wait. And maybe it's not fair to say wait, but I don't know. I mean, that's what I would have done.
Does he think he must really think he could beat you then if he wants
Well,
to? Well,
I don't know if he thinks that, but, you know, he must know that I'm good because I have trained with him.
right.
Yeah, you know, on the ground.
And that was a while ago, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since then you've been training and doing a lot.
We've never done any striking. You know, every time I've been over to South Shore, it's just, you know, just
How's
a
his
couple
ground
of
game?
sessions. He's a ground and pound guy. You know,
Yep.
he likes to grab you, put you on the ground.
Does he have your same skill in jits?
No.
No.
He knows that. He's a white belt. I'm a brown belt.
Oh,
and I know, and I understand the whole thing. You know, you punch a guy once in the face, he's, you know, he goes down in ranking. But you know, I'm not that guy in jiu-jitsu. You can.
How was his stand-up?
I haven't really done much stand-up with him.
Right, that's right. You said
and I haven't seen much in any of his fights because.
Do you know how he's won his? You don't know how he's won his fights?
I saw him win. I think one of them was a guillotine.
Okay, so
and I think no, it was CFX.
Okay, cool.
A couple of years ago, and then you know, ground and pound. He just, you know, he goes in and he gets in there and he imposes it as well, you know.
Nice.
So it'll be a good test. And,
good. So is this what you think you got to do? You think you got to fight this last one and then move up to pro?
Yeah. I actually I wanted this one to be pro.
Right.
But you know, sometimes you hear some talk and you don't know whether if it's coming from the actual opponent or their camp or the promoter just trying to, like, you know.
Hey, it might have come from me. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah. So
I didn't.
The plan was, and you know, he really wants to fight, so I'm gonna give him the fight now.
All right. Well, there you have it, Jimmy the Tool. Thank you for coming, folks. Thanks for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael the Hammer Mulligan and Jimmy Manning.
Alright, so for your basic no-gi MMA armbar, first and foremost is I want to make sure that I isolate one side of my opponent or training partner's body. So in this case, I want to isolate Shane's left side. So I'm going to reach under the far side arm, grabbing the back of, let's turn this way a little bit, grabbing the back of his tricep. Okay, my next step is I'm going to reach my left hand on his left shoulder, controlling him from sitting up and posturing out. Next, I'm going to put my left foot on his right hip, and I'm going to push and turn on the small of my back, making an easy pivot. At the same time, taking my right leg, controlling his posture as well. Okay. My last thing I'm going to be doing is looking into his ear. All right, that's going to make the step over and the finish that much easier. Right. A lot of times, what happens is people will do everything right. They'll get the leg, and they won't really exaggerate the turn, and it'll just be that much harder to get the armbar. So if you push off and you turn on the small of your back, really trying to look into the ear, the step over is that much easier. Okay, I step over before he postures up. I want to make sure my hips are off the ground, and I extend. Okay.
There it is. Jimmy and Shane on the armbar. Cool.
I think just about everybody knows this one. All right, so what I'm going to do now is in real time is the reverse arm drag. All right, so arm drag. We'll do it in real time, and then I'll break it down after that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry. So without the punch in the face, as you make your way to the back, that's the arm drag.
I paid him extra for that, folks.
Yeah, in real time. So to slow it down a little bit and break it down, most of the time in rolling sessions, we start out, one person starts out in like a combat-based position, and the other person starts out in like a, like a modified butterfly guard or sitting position. And what Shane wants to do is he wants to arm drag me and go to my back. Okay. What I'm going to do is, if we can just flip-flop real quick, just turn around so the camera can see. What I want to do is, as I'm anticipating the drag, I'm going to bring my leg up, stopping the drag. My next step is I'm going to let him drag me, okay? And I'm going to use his momentum and bring myself around to his back. So as he's pulling, I'm pulling a drag on him at the same time. So pull, and I'm pulling, and I'm coming around like this, holding on to it. All right, as I get around the other side, I want to reach underneath his armpit and control the wrist, because if I just come around, we'll do it a little quicker, right, and turn into it as you instinctively would. So reach around the head and he turns into it, like to his knees. It's going to be all for naught. So what I want to do is I want to control the far side wrist. And so one more time in real speed. So to the finish.
Nice. Perfect.